We have with us phoning in today Irvin, all the way from the great state of Utah. Irvin, are you there?
Yes, I am, Doctor.
All right, thanks so much for calling in, Irvin. Now, did I get it right? Do you live in Utah?
Yes, I live in Utah, right on the Arizona border, St. George, Utah.
I thought you were close down south. St. George, it's a beautiful town, isn't it? I really love St. George. I think St. George is one of the best-kept secrets in the United States. What a great climate, great people. I've only been there once, but I had a fantastic time. How long have you lived down in St. George?
We've lived here now going on 18 years. 18
years. Yeah, I really love it down there. But enough about St. George. Give the listening audience, bring us up to speed with what your experience with your health and Dr. Wallach and longevity has been like.
Well, Dr. Glidden, the way I got on longevity was I had an arthritic knee, and the doctors told me that I was going to have a knee replacement probably in a couple of years. But my daughter and my wife were taking longevity products, and I told them, no, I'm going to take what my daughter and wife is taking, and I won't have to have a knee replacement. And they just laughed at me and patted me on the back and said, see you in a couple of years. Well, right then, that was in March of last year, about the end of March, I got on Dr. Wallach's protocol and began taking the Healthy Start Pack and the glucogel, and that's all I was taking. Then, through those, I got side effects. Not side effects.
Side effects, okay.
Effects. And the side effects were I had an appointment with my optometrist, and I went to see him, which I do every year, because I had macular degeneration. I got macular degeneration back in 2002. And by 2009, I hadn't been able to read a thing. Now, whenever I went to him, I literally blew him away because I read 4 lines better on the eye chart. But he says, I can only give you 3 because you called an E, a F, or an F and E. And I thought, what's the difference? But he was totally shocked because normally my eyes were just maybe almost the same or always just a little bit worse.
Yeah.
And here I read 4 lines better.
Yeah.
And he took me in and he put the light in my eye, had a little girl sitting there, and he was giving her technical names with everything in my eye. And he would say, this is better, this is better, this is better, this is better, this is better. And finally, he just kept saying that, and then he stopped and he says, what in the world have you been doing? I honestly couldn't answer him because I did not know that Dr. Wallach's protocol was supposed to help the eyes. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you were taing it for your knee. Isn't that interesting?
I was taking it for my knee, and here my eyes have got better.
Right.
Well, it didn't take very long until he asked me if I'd changed my diet, and I said, no, not really. I'm eating the same thing. He says, are you taking some vitamins or something? And I said, yes, I am. I just started taking this longevity. He says, I never heard of it. But he says, I've read where some vitamins will help people's eyes, but not for macular degeneration. Nothing helps that. And he was in total shock. He could not believe it. Well, 2 nights later, I'd never go to a meeting or anything, but I went to this meeting to give a testimony on what this product had done for my daughter. And the first question out of the box, some woman up front asked, will this help macular degeneration? And I said, it just blurted out of me, macular degeneration, that's what I have. So the woman that was running the meeting said, absolutely, it will. And another woman said, haven't you ever heard of the CD called Seeing is Believing with Dr. Pugh telling what it will do for macular degeneration, glaucoma, and all eye diseases? And I said, I've never heard of it. And the woman that was running the meeting says, I will give you, both of you, a Seeing is Believing after the meeting's over. Well, boy, I stuck that in my car the minute I took off, I'll tell you, and listened to it. And then guess who come to town?
Dr. Wallach.
No, Dr. Glidden.
Oh, that was me. I know that guy.
Yeah, and Several people in the audience asked you what to do for macular degeneration before I could even open my mouth, and you told them and me exactly what to do. You told us to up our antioxidants to 100,000 a day, and we'd be seeing in 4 or 5 months. Well, you lied to me because I was seeing about 3.5 months, maybe 4 months.
I love my job.
And I wasn't only seeing, I was reading without glasses.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. Now, how many years had you been suffering with macular degeneration?
Well, I got it in 2002. When you came to town, I had it for 9 years because it was 2011 when you came to town. You
and
came to town
a year later, how's your vision?
Perfect.
And whatever happened to your arthritic knees, by the way?
Arthritic knee has been gone now for about 4, 5, 6 months.
Well, where the heck did it go?
I just left.
So no more arthritis in your knee?
None whatsoever. I also had some arthritis in my hands. I was beginning to notice that my hands, something was wrong, I must have arthritis. I don't have that anymore in my hands at all.
Fantastic. I mean, it's really great. Now, you have a daughter, yes, who was in an automobile accident?
Absolutely. Our daughter got in one of the worst automobile accidents in the world in July of 2010. And they pronounced her dead 2 or 3 times. She wasn't going to live, broke almost every bone in her body, crushed her bones. It crushed everything inside of her. In fact, they cut her open and left her open for about 4 or 5 days because they were afraid to sew her up because she could start bleeding again, and if she started bleeding again, she was dead.
Holy smokes.
Well, she had 9 operations, and every one of them, they told us, this is still a very dangerous operation. She may not survive. The 9th operation, the doctor told us, this is a piece of cake. I do these all day long, every day. And he operated on her back. And he put a screw right through her spinal cord.
I hate it when that happens. Ouch.
Oh, the doctor came out almost in tears and showed us right on his cell phone what he had done. And he said, if she can't move her toes within an hour from now, she'll be a paraplegic. Well, in an hour, she could not move her toes. She couldn't move her toes the next day. She couldn't move her toes for 6 months until she got on Dr. Wallick's product. Then she began to move her toes. But she was told by 6 doctors that she would never get out of her wheelchair again. The rest of her life, she would never drive a car unless it's a paraplegic car, where she drove it hands only. And that's what she was told by all of them. And her therapist told her, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, for you to ever get out of that wheelchair, your chances are 0.
And what happened to the wheelchair?
It was gone in about 4.5. You came here. She was in it. You met her. She was sitting in her wheelchair when you came. She had been on the product since 1st of February, and you came here the 16th of May. And she was already moving her feet, moving her toes, moving her body, and then she had already got out of horrible, horrible pain that she was in all the time, about the time you got here. And then you you told her some things you would take if you were in her condition. You added some things that you would take, and she began taking them. And I think... All
right, Irvin, hold on to that story. We're talking to Irvin from Utah. Let me just bring us all up to speed, do a little recap. Irvin, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. Let me see if I got this right. So you were diagnosed with arthritis. You were diagnosed with macular degeneration, but both by MDs, and both of whom told you, the arthritis doctors told you that there was nothing that you could do for it, that it was just a matter of time until you needed knee replacement surgery. And the macular degeneration guy told you that macular degeneration was impossible to reverse. And you met Dr. Wallach. You started taking the longevity family of nutritional supplements, and you changed your diet up. The macular degeneration disappeared. You got your vision back. The arthritis disappeared. You got your knees back. And your daughter was in a horrible automobile accident, had a number of surgeries, the last of which paralyzed her from the waist down because the surgeon made an oops and put a screw into her spinal cord. Surgeon told you she was going to be paralyzed from the waist down. She's never going to walk again. She was in a wheelchair. She started taking the longevity nutritional supplements. And is she out of the wheelchair, in the wheelchair, or what's the story?
She's completely out of the wheelchair. After she got on Dr. Wallach's products, she was probably on them 4.5 to 5 months, and she was out of the wheelchair on the arm crutches. She was on arm crutches about the same length of time, maybe just a little less, and she's off the arm crutches, and she's on a cane. But around the house, she will walk without the cane as long as she knows she can reach out and grab a piece of furniture or a wall if she loses her balance.
Holy smokes. Van Herman, you got to love that. This is... Okay, go ahead.
Not only that, Doctor, just about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, my wife and I was here at home. She lives out in the Badlands in Nevada, and it's 100 miles, almost exactly 100 miles from her house to our house. And we looked up, and her little Toyota car that she owned the day she got in the wreck, she was actually in a pickup when she wrecked. And her little Toyota car was sitting in the driveway when that happened. Her little Toyota car pulled up in front of the house. It's a stick shift. And she got out of it and come walking up to the door. And,
that must
she's been driving ever since.
That must have been the happiest day in your life, Irvin.
It was. It brought, when I saw her walking up the door, just like right now, I've got tears in my eyes just telling it, but tears just started running down my face whenever I saw her get out. My wife came flying out the door, caught her before she got halfway up the walkway, and I was right behind her, and it was just a fantastic moment to...
yeah. My heart goes out to you, Irvin. I mean, my heart goes out to you. This is just a remarkable story. It's a remarkable story. Now, rumor has it, you're not alone, right? Rumor has it that Dr. Wallach was just in St. George again, and before Dr. Wallach gave his health lecture, there were a number of people from the St. George area who got up on the stage one at a time to give their testimony about their relationship to their health with the longevity products in Dr. Wallach's science-based, clinically verified methods of health recovery through medical nutrition. About how many people do you figure gave a testimony last weekend?
There were 16 of them. But we asked at the end of it if there was anybody in the crowd that had got results from being on Dr. Wallach's protocol, and there was probably 30, 40, 50 of them that stood up that said they had got terrific results.
Man, it's just remarkable, isn't it? Did any of the surgeons, that were involved with your daughter's care have anything to say about her recovery?
She's just waiting to throw her cane down and walk in and say good morning or good afternoon to all of them.
Well, I want to be there on that day. Man, I would love to be on a fly on the wall on that day.
Too.
Irvin, you're doing a great job. Now, we have a minute left here. You're actively building a longevity business, of course. I mean, you'd be a knucklehead not to. How's that going for you?
It's going fantastic, and you're the greatest help in the world, Doc, because we use your CD, Healing is Easy, all the time, right along with Dr. Wallach, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And it's a builder, a great builder, and everybody out here just loves Dr. Glidden.
Well, if I seem tall to you, Irvin, it's because I'm standing on Dr. Wallach's shoulders, no kidding. And you better fasten your seatbelt, buddy, because there is a lot more to come.